Many people think that in order to build a house, you have to be a builder and you have to know all the different construction trades and framing and plumbing and electrical. But that's actually not true. What you can do as a business owner is you can find a deal, find a GC to actually run the deal for you, get a loan in place, build and sell the property for a six-figure exit. And that's what I love about the new construction game, because you can pick up a deal, put the loan in place, get the GC in place, run the deal start to finish, and take your profit at the end of the deal, or put it as a rental to build your assets instead of your income. So on a deal like this, what does it look like? Well, you're going to need roughly, depending on whatever kind of deal you have, if it's a personal build to where you're gonna move into the home, you need a minimum of 5% down plus 2% closing costs. What's required for that 7%? You need to have either good W-2 income, you need to either have 2 years of tax returns that are good, and usually they'll take the average of the 2 tax returns. The loan limit maximum will be $806,500 in order to get that kind of new construction loan and qualify for that small down payment. If you wanted to get a loan where you have no income verification at all, there's a product called a hard money loan or a private money loan. Typically that's anywhere from 10 to 15% down, and you have no income verification. In other words, you run the numbers on the deal, put the deal together, get the pro forma, get the lender in place, they run an appraisal. They'll say, hey, for this $1 million project, you need to bring in, for example, $150,000, and you can build and sell. Usually that loan term is anywhere from 12 to 18 months. And the loan points on something like that is gonna be 1 to 2%, 1 to 2 points. So there's 2 different ways to get into it. Less down payment, income verification. More down payment, no income verification. It's literally just based on the deal itself. It's an asset-based loan. And that's how you can get in one of these deals. All right, let's dive a little bit deeper into the owner-builder process and what that kind of looks like. Most people think that this process is too hard to build your very first home. I have no experience. They have all of these different excuses, but actually it's not. Let's dive deeper into all the different details. I'm gonna show you exactly on why it's simple to build your very first new construction build. By the way, I'm helping people across the entire nation build their very first home with no experience, get into the new construction game, and make their first six-figure check. Click that link below to learn more about how you could do this too. I see it all the time to where a lot of my clients come to me, they have a deal, they've been sitting on it for a long time, for example, and they just don't know what to do with it because it just seems like this is overwhelming. But guys, I'm here to tell you that in this game, we simply rely on professionals every step of the way to get into these deals and get them fully completed. Okay, so as you guys can see on site here at Landover lot number 2, we are a few weeks into framing. However, this deal is probably more than 6 months old because I had to find the deal, permit it, draw up the plans, and get to this stage of construction. So yeah, there might be a little bit of details throughout this process, but the beautiful thing is, it's simple. So having a good GC in your corner is important. It's really not difficult to actually complete these steps as long as you have the right professional with a good track record in place. When we're finding land, we're usually working with real estate agents that have sold land to builders and then have sold the new construction homes for the builders. And so they're well connected in their space. When we're working with city planning officials, they review new construction plans on a daily basis. They see these plans every single day, so they're not surprised when they look at your plans and they have a few corrections for you to resubmit and work with your drafter and your builder, maybe your architect. So that's what I love about this game. It's simple, it's repeatable, and you're working with professionals on every single step of the process. Let's just say that you have your $100,000 and you don't know what to do with it. What would be the very first step? Well, I would say one of the very first steps to actually putting your capital to work and getting a new construction deal started is I would start looking for land, number one, and start connecting with different builders in the area to find out what you can build on these types of parcels, and you can start to assemble your team. Once you figure out, okay, in this area, people are building 2,500 square foot houses, or in this area, people are building 1,000 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom square foot units, then you know exactly what your end product will be, and you can start calculating your numbers. Because if you're already looking at the land and the land is say $100,000 and then the units are selling for $500,000-$600,000 or the homes are selling for $1 million, you have some rough numbers in mind to be able to calculate your potential future profit. The simple formula is going to be land costs, construction costs, and sale price. Those are the three key factors to making a deal work, and all of those three numbers should leave you at the end with a minimum 20% return. Okay, so let's go over the rough numbers on a hypothetical deal and kind of like what we're looking for when we're looking for land and we're talking to a builder. Once you have the idea of what you're going to build, for example, a $1 million home, then you can pay roughly up to 20% of that final sale price for the land. So we see up here, we have a roughly $200,000 price for land. We're going to have plus or minus a $500,000 construction budget. We're at a total of $700,000. And then our sale price is $1 million. We have $300,000 of spread in these numbers. Now, roughly plus or minus $100,000 is going to go to lender fees, realtor commissions, maybe excise tax that you might have, and $200,000 of profit left over. That $200,000 of profit is that minimum 20% ROI that we're looking for on the deal. So, key takeaways here. We have a 20% rule of thumb for the land, and then we have a 20% minimum return on investment on the actual deal. If those few checkpoints check out, it's worth pursuing and actually getting into the details and figuring out, okay, what's the square footage of the home? What's the bedroom, bathroom count? What can I actually build this project out for? Does it fit inside of the $500,000 budget? And we can start breaking into the details of this actual deal. Okay, so let's run those numbers on exactly what it would take to get into this deal regarding your down payment. And let's talk a little bit about cash on cash. So we have our $1 million project, right? And we're gonna do a minimum of 7% down if it was a owner builder loan. So we would need to bring in a total of $70,000 down, and we would be able to build this $1 million project. The only problem here is that we would have to actually move into the home and live into the home. It would have to be our primary residence usually. Now, if we wanted to do an asset-based loan, we had a builder with some good experience, we would need to only bring in 10% down. Usually that's with a good lender, so you need $100K down. Now, if you don't have the experience or your GC is not willing to sign a completion guarantee, in other words, guarantee that he's going to complete the project start to finish, then you're most likely going to need to be somewhere around the 15% down mark. So really simple math, you would need $150,000 down to get into the deal. And we already know that we make $200,000 of profit on this deal. So you need $150,000 to get into this deal. Now, in order to calculate cash on cash profit, we take our potential profit of $200,000, divide it by our down payment, and we can see that our cash on cash return is 1.33333, multiply it by 100 to get it into percentage form, 133% growth on our money. In other words, if we did this every year, our money would grow at a rate of 133%. Absolutely incredible. So with some leverage, you can get into the new construction game. You don't want to over risk yourself and build something brand new in the neighborhood that the comps don't support. But if you do this right, this is a really, really great business on the side. Construction does not take that much time because I'm just simply managing and coordinating the framers and the plumbers and the HVAC contractors, but I am a licensed GC. If you hire a licensed GC to manage that for you, it virtually takes maybe a few hours a week to run one of these deals start to finish because the GC is responsible to actually completing the project. The realtor is responsible for actually selling the project. The GC is usually working with the drafter to draw up the plans and get them submitted wherever you're located. That's why I love this game, because so many of my clients come to me to do an investment deal. I help them build it. They pay me a builder fee. That's kind of how I make my income as a GC. And then I see them making over 100% cash on cash return on their money, which is absolutely incredible. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today is if you are a business owner and you have the capital available and you wanted to get into one of these projects and learn how to do it start to finish, that's exactly what I teach. And that's exactly the type of person that I help so that you can actually build wealth and not just income. If that sounds interesting to you, click that link below and you can get in contact with my team and we can see if you'll be able to build one of these homes for the very first time with no experience while running your business full-time. Hit that link below so that you can work with me and my team. There'll be a short little application for you to fill out to make sure that we're able to work with you and we could get your first house built.